just quickly for anyone who's interested, Sydney Swans versus GWS Giants. I know Carl is very interested. 52-28. Half time. Sydney, just. Should be killing it. Anyway, let's move on. More football score updates to come. Alright, first let's get the father of the bride. Everyone put your hands together for Brent Maxwell.
Thanks, Joe. Try not to keep my back to anybody, so if I wander around, don't worry about it. I can't take centre stage. I mean, we've got two guys here. Don't they look fantastic, eh? Fabulous. Round of applause, Lauren. I'd just like to welcome everybody here tonight on this fantastic occasion. The weather was fantastic, the service was great today, and couldn't have asked for more perfect weather for a perfect couple. I'd like to welcome all our overseas visitors from New Zealand, United States, UK, and all our interstate visitors from Queensland, Tasmania, WA, and if I've missed anybody, I do apologise. My speech has really been blown out of the water by all the previous speeches by the lovely bridal party we have here. So, I'll just tell you a bit of a story in colour. It's only a short one. I take it everybody knows or has heard Meals on Wheels. Well, this is Carla's story. Carla went overseas and did a thing, and she deferred from uni. And when she came back, she wanted to buy a property. And Maria and I suggested that she get her exam out of the way, so stay at home, no worries, and just concentrate on your exams, on your studying. So she went to uni at Kensington, and that would be after work when she was going. So she'd do a full day's work, full-time job, and then go to uni at night. Well, we were a bit concerned about her getting home. Didn't want her coming home too late by herself, as parents do. So, this is better. So, Maria and I discussed this, and it was agreed that I'd go and pick her up. So what we did was we prepared another meal, an extra plate, covered it in tin foil, wrapped it up in a towel, and I hurtled off to Kensington. Picked Carla up, promptly plonks the gear in the back seat, jumps in the front, seatbelt on, what's for tea? Gourmet meal on wheels. Who thought of it? But Carla certainly perfected it. Just seriously now, Paul, that was a wonderful speech. I know it was from the heart, I could tell. That was very moving. I'm not going to talk too long. Richard? What can I say? This guy, he's very caring, would help anybody. He would even give the shirt off his back to help you out. Really does. And the body language that Carla and Richard show is just absolutely mind-blowing. It's just lovely. Absolutely lovely. You can just tell it. With that, ladies and gentlemen, if you charge your glasses, and join Maria and I in toasting this wonderful couple before us, Carla and Richard.
Well done, Brent. Very good. Fantastic. Okay, next we have the mother of the groom. Please put your hands together for Jean Simons.
Thanks, Jerry. As Brent said, I know how hard it was for Paul to make that speech, and from the bottom of my heart, I know how difficult that was. I want to say that. Very special. To my darling Richard and Carla, or should I say, Mr. and Mrs. Richard Simons. It has such a lovely ring to it, and took 38 years to hear that. It's worth every minute. Richard, today is such a very special day, filled with such mixed emotions. As we stood under the hookah today, we all know how sad it was that your dad was not here to share what must have been the happiest day of your life. I know that he's here with us in spirit, and I know that he would definitely be somewhere saying, Richard, this is definitely the best deal you have ever made. For those of you who know Richard, and I think we all do, it's all about the deal. There's not a day that goes by that Richard doesn't do a deal. And it started from the day he was born. As I sat in the hospital bed after giving birth, thinking how wonderful to have given birth to this lovely little baby, the nurse came in and she said, you have a beautiful baby, but he doesn't sleep. I later figured out that Richard was already planning his first deal. Life was never dull. Here was a child who didn't sleep, because you can't make deals when you don't sleep. So life got off to a very hectic start. No sleep for Richard meant no sleep for Mum. So having a pharmacy 2 minutes down the road meant I could take him down there and I could leave him in the pharmacy and he'd chat to the customers, which he did from the time he was about 1.5. And he hasn't stopped doing it since. Some say he got it from his mother. At a very early age, in fact he was only about 3, his love of cars was born. And we'd walk along Bondi Beach or along the street, and Richard would be walking along past motorbikes, and he'd be checking out all those little things that end in ometer, you know, speedometers and tachometers, odometers and such. And the deal maker was growing up. He'd come into our bedroom in the morning and he'd say to me, Mum, Dad, I thought up this really good thing in the middle of the night. This would go on constantly. We have no idea where it came from, but this is what he used to do. His mind would be racing, because he didn't sleep. His mind would be racing and he'd be thinking up deals and things he could do. We used to look at each other in wonderment. All through school, he was never able to sit still long enough to concentrate. So we weren't surprised when he got to university and we got a phone call. We were having a well-earned holiday overseas and we got a phone call that went something like this. Hi Dad, just want to let you know I'm wasting my time at university. History and French aren't doing me any good. I want to go out there in the business world. I want to work with cars. Needless to say, we weren't too happy. But looking back, we could see that that was all he ever wanted to do. Within months of working at Saab as their boy Friday, he was their leading salesman. Every week he'd come home with gifts. TVs, microwaves, luggage, sound systems. His room was filling up because he was a boy who left university to work as a boy Friday, but he was selling cars. But under all that bravado that you see, there was a Richard evolving that we really didn't know. He had his own business, and on a Wednesday afternoon he'd close up shop and he'd go and work at the Matthew Talbot Hostel, feeding soup to the homeless guys. This time it wasn't for attention. but for those less fortunate than himself. This was a side of Richard that we eventually got to know and love very dearly. Excuse me, just Sorry. His charity efforts expanded to the Prince of Wales Hospital, and he would go on a Tuesday morning, give up work and spend hours running the school program, the school visit program at the Children's Hospital. Just when we were getting to know this really special side of Richard, Andrew got sick. And there we saw the most incredible caring person become involved in his father's care. He would go there in the mornings to make sure Andrew had breakfast. He'd spend endless hours there just to keep him company, and at night sometimes just to take him a meal. Nothing was too much for Richard where his dad was concerned. After losing Andrew, Richard's concern turned to me. I'd like to thank you, Richard, in case I haven't done it adequately in the past, for the most unbelievable care you gave me. You moved in and you took over the role of your dad, helping me with financial affairs and just being there for me with love and moral support. I couldn't have coped without you, and I will never forget it. I love you very much, and I don't say that often enough. In the next few years, the best thing you did was buy unit number 7. See? Because opposite in unit number 7 was our beautiful bride. I got a phone call. Mum, you should see the girl who lives opposite. Being a sensible, loving Jewish mother, I said, Richard, don't start with your neighbour. Just be friends. Anyway, when you look at Richard's charming and beautiful bride tonight, even I can forgive him for not taking any notice of me that time. The next phone call was, Mum, can you fax me that recipe for tuna ceviche? I'm cooking dinner for Carla. And every Monday night this went on, Mum, can you fax me this recipe? Well, Monday night at Richard's place turned into Tuesday nights at Carla's place. And I won't tell you what happened after that. Carla, you are undoubtedly the best thing that has ever happened to Richard. You are the most loving, intelligent, caring person. And the love you and Richard have for each other is evident every time you are together. You come into our home and the warmth of your love comes in with you. I'm so thrilled to welcome you into the family, and I look forward to the many happy times we will share. I have so enjoyed the involvement in the preparation of this wedding, and I think you and Richard have done an amazing job. It must have been really stressful because you were buying a house at the same time, and it obviously was a stressful time and you handled it very well, except for me. One of the reasons Richard waited so long for the right girl was because he had incredibly high expectations. Family has always been the most important thing to Richard, and he's been looking for that special somebody who felt the same way. Carla, you have such a lovely relationship with your mum and dad, your grandparents and Yvonne and Joe and your extended family. And this was one of the qualities that Richard fell in love with. Marie and Brent, thank you for giving us Carla, and thank you for welcoming us and Richard into your home. We spent Christmas Eve with you last year, and we experienced the warmth and love of your family. I look forward to spending many more special occasions with your family. Thank you to my friends Leon and Betty and Nat and Adam for coming up from Melbourne. We've been friends for a long time and we've shared all our special occasions together. Thank you to all our friends and family who are here with us tonight. It's what makes these occasions so special. Richard, Carla, I wish you both lots of love and happiness. May it be the most wonderful journey. Could you please once again raise your glasses to Richard and Carla.
Great, Jeannie. Thank you for that beautiful insight into a side that possibly a lot of people didn't know about Richard. So that was wonderful. Okay, next we have one of the groomsmen, Michael Penny. Please put your hands together.
Thank you, Joe. When Mitch asked me to give a speech, I thought fantastic. But then I panicked. I thought, how can I keep it brief? There's so much to say. It's about what to omit rather than what to include. So I thought, look, let's touch on 3 defining features about Richard. And that's his generosity, his eccentricity, and his love of cars. But now Richard actually has 2 great loves now, car and cars, and we'd like to think we know which particular order they sit in. But see, 5 weeks ago, Rich called me up and said, mate, I've got a wedding car. And I said to him, you're a bit early, aren't you? No, I bought one. It was a 745 BM, long wheelbase. It was an absolute nick. And I said to Rich, like, Rich, everyone who knows Richard knows that everything is for sale. And I thought, how are you going to hold on to this for 5 weeks? Anyway, 2 weeks ago, he's got a great head on it, as he says, and he eventually sold it, made a $10,000 profit, but he had no wedding car, so I guess that signifies his priorities, but he did get another one, so that's sorted. Look, Richard's love of cars always meant he'd end up in the industry. Briefly, he spent a year doing a science degree at New South Wales University, but that was just a temporary diversion from the real goal. And then suddenly, he turns up at my house in a yellow Lotus Elan. He had left university, got a job at Alec Mildred Saab, and the first job was really to drive this yellow car around the eastern suburbs. It's a convertible, get paid a good salary, and he'd have to have the Alec Mildred Saab decal on the side. But anyway, that was the end of his degree and the start of his great career. But with a love of cars, he naturally had to fall in love with a woman named Car. Listen, that's not the only reason. But hang on, how beautiful do you look tonight? I mean, you look magnificent. And as to the bridesmaids, you look fantastic. Carla, you compliment Rich perfectly. True, you're tall with a thick head of hair. I can say that. You're also the rational voice to his impulsiveness. And you're an accountant, so presumably you're responsible with money. Now, Richard's had a history of being irresponsible with money. I feel you've improved him, but in the last year he's bought a boat, he's bought a rally car, which he sold though, and he's got a $200,000 Mercedes collecting dust in his mother's garage. So I thought you've still got a bit of work to do. But the truth is, you never want to try and change Rich because you fall in love with the qualities that we all love too. He's enthusiastic and positive, very uplifting for his friends. He's a great listener and always puts himself before others. And it's not just for his friends, it's for strangers too, as... Sorry. He always puts himself out for other people. But it's also for strangers as well, as demonstrated by the tireless work he does at the Matthew Talbot, as well as the Children's Hospital in Marrickville. To his friends, he's dependable, generous and caring. Now, to those lucky enough to travel with Richard, before he lost weight, they termed him FJOF. So, FJOF stands for Fat Jewish Organising Friend. This FJOF, he books cars, books hotels, books massages, he finds restaurants and he orders for everyone. His friends love the relaxing experience. Richard simply loves to make those around him happy, and he hates to disappoint people. He really hates to disappoint people, Carla. Take the AFL. So, you genuinely believe that he loves to spend a Saturday night in winter at Homebush Stadium? Wrong. His dream Saturday night involves Chinese food, a foot massage, a scotch, and to be in bed by 10:30, logged on to carsales.com. Richard is a hilarious storyteller. He is unashamedly self-deprecating, truthfully sharing tales like how he took ownership of a cute Rottweiler puppy to help him pick up women. Now, this cute Rottweiler puppy didn't stay a cute Rottweiler puppy, and after 12 months, he sent it to a better home with his original mission unaccomplished. I could talk all night, but I want to leave you with the traits I admire most about Rich, and that's his commitment and determination. Now, he has an addictive personality, and he doesn't do things by halves. Take his gluttonous 20s. He didn't eat by halves, he didn't drink by halves, and he didn't smoke by halves. So it's not uncommon to see Richard at the Golden Century on a weeknight at 2 AM after an evening at Star City Casino. And I know he was their best Caucasian customer. But then suddenly on his 30th birthday, Damien buys him a gift that would change his life. Boot camp. That's a free plug for James over there. Boot camp. Richard becomes a fitness fanatic. To this day, he trains, he diets, he consumes pills, he binge eats, he diets again, and he has more pills. He became so determined to get into shape, he even began weighing himself 10 times a day until Carla recently hid the scales from him. But Rich, all three of them. Rich, he's a little obsessive. You decided to become the person you wanted to be, and you became that person. And you wanted to meet that special woman, and you did. It's possible the pimped up spa bath and the cameras outside her apartment, they might help nab her. or the newfound abs and biceps, they may have worked as well. But I doubt it. Carla simply fell in love with your kind heart and infectious charm. And it's what we all, especially Carla, love about you. Congratulations to you both.
Well done, Mike. That was brilliant. Now I'm going to start calling you Carl, Rich. That was very funny, very funny. Okay, now, the man of the moment. Time to hear from Richard Simons.
Because I'm a bit tall, I'm going to come down here. So many things have been said tonight, which I'm going to repeat. First of all, thank you so much for coming. And thank you, beautiful Carla, for saying yes. So, for those of you who don't know, and I bet you none of you know, but before 1751, today was New Year's Eve. In the old calendar. And I read it this morning and it's boring, but I wanted to tell you. Seriously, 24, it's New Year's Eve in the United Kingdom in 1750. Anyway, so I said, at the start of my speech, I've actually written here, let's all do a bit of a deal. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to try and say a few funny things, and I really want you to laugh. Don't try and say some sad things later on, and you can cry if you want to, but just pretend that you're upset. And then at the end I'm going to surprise you, and afterwards you're going to say, oh my God, that was amazing. dinner and drinks tonight. So, first thing I want to talk about, and I had no idea about the butterflies today, was about how important, ever since I met Carla and before Carla at Paul and Charlotte's wedding, about these butterflies that keep being such an important part of my life. Apart from the fact that I have about 1,000 of them in my gut today, Paul had this wedding exactly the same with Charlotte as what we did today, and it was amazing. One of the butterflies actually flew around my mum, and we all sort of said afterwards, Sheila said, I think that butterfly may have had something to do with your dad. It flew right near Mum and just sort of sat there, and today was absolutely beautiful. So, Carla, thank you so much for organising it. It was very, very touching. When we got engaged, it's a true story, we're in the Isle of Pines, and I do tell some true stories. There was this butterfly that's just flying around us, and I said to Carla, oh my God, you know, there's another butterfly. And then, I don't know, we were walking somewhere else and doing something cute, and there was another butterfly. Anyway, so on the invitations and all your little name tags and whatever, if you have a very close look, there's a whole lot of butterflies. So I wanted to just talk, and I know it's quite funny to talk about butterflies a lot, but so you know, a butterfly starts as a caterpillar. So I sort of saw myself in my earlier days as a bit of a caterpillar. I was a bit, with the women, a bit slow to get started. So, you know, 38 or something like that. And I read something about this, and it says here that butterflies, it says here that there's a section in a butterfly's life called pupation, or where the pupa is formed. Now, this may go on for years. This is where the insect forms a very hard protective coating to evade potential predators. So, like myself, I bought a unit next to Carla, and I made 100% sure there was no way that she was ever going to be out of my sight. I used to wait for her every single morning in the car park, in my car, which meant I was bloody late for work because she's sometimes a bit late. The bosses are here. So. I don't need to inform you, I mean, you see them. Anyway, so as my mum said, I love to cook for Carla. Go to the Swan, which I do like. As you'll see, their bridesmaids and Carla's dresses are red and white. So. Anyway, so during pupation, the skin comes off of the caterpillar. And as you will see, my skin has come off too. A bit of the old gut locker as well. But that will be coming back, I'm sure. So anyway, the cocoon is formed, which I had, as my mum said, in the eastern suburbs as a Jew. Because cocoon, I was in my little cocoon and I really didn't want to get out. So here I find out that the inner west is a little bit cheaper. So there's, you know, the cross-city tunnel? Okay, in a butterfly's life, there's this thing called metamorphosis. That is my cross-city tunnel. The move, the next stage. Anyway, it says that metamorphosis is the hatching stage, which is accompanied by a change of habitat or behaviour, of which I had both. I did say that my mother didn't want me to get out of the cocoon and wanted to stop. I don't know if it was for the $5 every time we went over there or I just wanted me to stay there. But I'm now turning my back to the rest of you and I want to talk to Carla. So by far, we've all said tonight, these have been the best years of my life.